A lot of changes, a lot of news. Let's jump right into it. What is up, Finn fans? Like I said, and you can tell by the title, I got a lot to talk about today. I have a whole page, I don't even know if you can see it, a whole page of notes that I want to talk about. I want to address some newses, some notes, some moves, some things, some that, league-wide things, worldwide things, and I'm going to talk about the Miami Dolphins strategy coming free agency, hopefully on Wednesday, the 18th, but again, we don't know. So let me jump into that. Let's just, let me do trivia. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do trivia real quick. Again, I'm recording this Thursday night. You guys are watching it Friday. Trivia, and I expect every single one of you guys to get this one. What visiting team did the Dolphins beat on Monday Night Football in 2017? What visiting team did the Miami Dolphins beat on Monday Night Football in 2017? I'll give you two hints. I'll give you three hints. You probably already know it. You're probably filling up Premiere over here. You probably already commented below. I'll give you three hints. 1, Xavier Howard, 2 interception game. 2, Kenyon Drake had a great game, made people miss tackles left and right. 3, Jakeem Grant, crazy touchdown in the end zone. 4, Jay Cutler actually had a good game, and we were leading by halftime. What team was that? So let's jump into this and let's talk about what's going on worldwide. Now, I wanted to talk about this first, and when you get it out in the forefront, I just really wanted to talk about it, address it, and we're going to move on to all Miami Dolphin things. The coronavirus is a thing. The coronavirus is affecting not only Italy, who's on a complete and utter shutdown, China, all these countries, but it's affecting the United States. I'm not going to go into details. I'm not going to go into political details because that's something that, for one, shouldn't be talked about when it comes to this virus. But I'm not going into any of that stuff. What I'm going to go into is how it's affecting the sports world. It's hugely affecting the sports world. The United States is trying to take a precautionary action to it and not have it spread anymore by having huge crowds in places. So essentially, this is what's happening now because of this coronavirus now in the United States and starting to spread in the United States. The NCAA basketball tournament, men and women, canceled. No March Madness, no championships, no nothing. NCAA is completely canceled. The MLB is delaying the opening season, which is normally in April, 2 weeks, and spring training is canceled. NHL suspended. XFL suspended. NBA suspended. All of these sports are suspended. And then you want to talk about the NFL, the owners meeting that was supposed to happen, I think Friday, I think today, the 30th. I'm sorry. The 30th owners meeting canceled. It was supposed to happen in Miami. Now the free agency and the draft are still on. Those are still going to happen. Free agency is still going to start, and the league year is still going to start on the 18th, this upcoming Wednesday. As of me recording this right now, Thursday night, that is what the news is. It could change. Something could happen, and all of a sudden they push it back. And why do I say that? Well, the draft is also still on. That's happening the 23rd of April. That is still on, but don't be surprised if all of a sudden they want to cut down crowd sizes and they kind of do it old school where they just call up, the teams kind of, call their picks in and they just do it without the players and a crowd. But the reason why I said that as of now the league year will start on the 18th is because all of these teams are suspending their coaches and their scouts from traveling. Now, the Miami Dolphins quarterback coach was with Justin Herbert. You guys all know I tweeted out the video of Justin Herbert throwing a bomb, it was impressive. Don't get me wrong. It was impressive. But all of the teams are completely locked down. They are not traveling at all. Coaches, scouts, all that jazz. And this is the statement from the Miami Dolphins. Due to ongoing concerns regarding COVID-19, the coronavirus, we will temporarily suspend travel for all scouts and coaches. The safety of everyone associated with the Miami Dolphins is of the utmost importance. We will continue to monitor the situation and take advice. So Miami Dolphins are doing their thing, shutting it down. Now, a lot of people are talking about there's college film, there's the combine, and when they have their pro days, every team that has a pro day, Alabama, all that stuff, they send the tapes out to the coaches and the scouts anyway. So that still is a thing, in the draft, like I said, will still happen. It might be a little bit different because the only time they really talk to these players was at the combine when they had one-on-one meetings. They tend to want to take them out to dinner and talk to them a little bit more, see how they are in person. But I don't know if that's still going to happen before the draft. It might not. But they still talk to them during the combine. So they still kind of get a feel for how they are character-wise. So those are some of the news that broke about the coronavirus. A ton of leagues are suspended. The NCAA basketball is not happening. And the owners' meeting canceled. Draft and free agency still on, like I said, as of now. But everyone is kind of bunkering down. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's all I want to talk about with the coronavirus, give you guys an update on what's going on worldwide when it comes to sports and around the United States. Now let's talk about some Miami Dolphin things. Now, the Miami Dolphins have tendered 3 of their exclusive right free agents. Now, if you guys remember my cut resign video, I talked about 2 of them. I said 2 of them I would bring back, and that's what the Miami Dolphins did. Essentially, Isaiah Ford, he's going to be back with the Dolphins. They signed him to an exclusive right tender, which essentially means that he's on the Dolphins with a league minimum. They bring back linebacker Trent Harris. I like that move. And they bring back defensive tackle that they got off the Baltimore Ravens practice squad, Zach Seiler, which I love that move. The man killed it last season, and I'm very happy they bring him and Isaiah Ford back. I'm very happy about the moves the Miami Dolphins did in those 3 aspects. So those moves, just want to let you guys know, throw that in there real quick. Now let's talk about free agency. Let's talk about what I do defensively, because if you guys know, I kind of I had this plan about, okay, I'm going to do quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. I was going to do each individual section, and then all of a sudden, a lot of things started breaking, and all of a sudden, my video ideas were like, hey, you got to put that on the back burner, and all of a sudden, now I'm like, whoop, because I did quarterbacks, then I did running backs, wide receivers, then I did tight end, offensive line in the video. Now I'm just doing all of the defenses at one. So what I'm going to talk about now is I'm going to talk about defensive players that intrigue me and I'd probably target in free agency. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the strategy that the Miami Dolphins have going into free agency. So let's jump into this, okay? So first things first, Cameron Wake was cut by the Tennessee Titans. Unfortunately, he could not stay healthy last year. That's why our comp pick fell all the way to a 7th. He couldn't stay healthy last year, and the Tennessee Titans decided they're going to go in a different direction, especially with the defensive end that they drafted last year showing how well he can play, and they cut Cameron Wake. Now, for a comment of the day, one of you guys asked me, hey, would you bring Cameron Wake back? I would. I would probably use about the $5 million that we saved with Rashad Jones. I'd bring him back. And if he feels like he still can't play, then I bring him back with 1 day contract and have him retire Miami Dolphin. But I'd bring him back. I don't see how it really hurt, and it really wouldn't stunt anyone, especially because we have no one at pass rush to stunt. I'm going to talk about that. But just really want to address Cameron Wake. Love him. One of my favorite Dolphins of all time. I kind of bring him back. Now let's talk about free agency. There are some big names on defense when it comes to free agency. There's about 4 that I don't expect to hit free agency. They're either going to get franchise tags or they're going to get re-signed. Those 4 are Byron Jones, Shaq Barrett, Justin Simmons, and Chris Jones. Now, I don't expect those 4 to hit free agency, and if they do, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to go after them. And I'll talk about that when I get to strategy. Also, a lot of you guys are going to realize that Ngakoue isn't on my list. And I'll talk about that when I get to free agency. The strategy, and I'll talk about that. I know a lot of you guys want him. A lot of you guys are very interested, like you liked what you saw from him last season. Just bear with me, and when I talk about the Miami Dolphins free agent strategy, you'll see why. Now, here are some of the guys that I would target if I was the Miami Dolphins. Linebacker Dante Fowler. He was with the Rams last year. He's young. He's only 25. He was traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Rams mid-season 2018. He didn't do that much in 2018 with that trade. He did about 4 sacks, I think. Had a few amount of tackles. Did all right. Last season, he had 11.5 sacks. And in 2017, a full season with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 8 sacks. I would see if the Dolphins can bring him in. I think he would be a very good pass rusher in this 3-4 defense. I'd help on the outside linebacker pass rushing area, and I'd bring him. I'd see if he'd come in. Now, am I breaking the bank for him? I don't know with that, but he's young. He's 25, and he showed last year he can get after the quarterback. So linebacker Dante Fowler is one of the guys that I'd keep an eye out. I might, hey, you want to come play for Miami? We'll give you so-and-so amount, you know. Throw a number at you just to see the comments below telling me he's not taking that. You're out of your mind. $10 million a year. I don't know. Then we got linebacker Matthew Judon. I'm probably saying that name wrong. From the Baltimore Ravens. He's another 3-4 outside linebacker / pass rusher. 27. Now, the reason I like this guy is he's had constant success in getting after the quarterback. Last year, 9.5 sacks. The year before that, 7. Kind of took a dip. In 2017, 8 sacks. Kind of around that number. And I'm liking him. If you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here, I got to get more pressure on the quarterback. This defensive line was not getting pressure on the quarterback. We were relying on these defensive tackles to be pass rushers on the outside. You need more pressure on the quarterback. Now, Brian Flores has always said, and he's always that mindset of, it's not about sacking him, but getting pressure on him. Yes, we weren't doing that. If you watch games with Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, heck, Tom Brady at some points, Phillip Rivers, a lot of times when these quarterbacks were just making plays, it's because they had 9 days in the pocket. They would sit down on a lawn chair, sip some iced tea. Oh, you're finally open, and throw them the ball. Then our cornerbacks look bad, and then people want to say Xavier Howard sucks, and he got burnt against the Dallas Cowboys when you get 500 minutes in the backfield to throw the ball. Need some pass rush. So that's a lot of what you're going to see is pass rush on this list. Speaking of pass rush, Leonard Williams. Now, Giants are trying to get him back. You know, my boy the Entertainer YouTube channel, Giants YouTube channel, trying to get him back, but they're at a distance. They don't know what they're doing there. See what do you do in Miami? Bring him in. Have him, Wilkins, Gottschall, Jenkins on that, that defensive line. See what he can do. Now, he had 17.5 career sacks. He got traded last year from the Jets to the Giants. Didn't do too great. I think he had like half a sack last year, but I'd still bring him in. The fact that he had half a sack and the fact that, he didn't do too swift last year, I feel like his market price would probably dip a little bit. And I feel like that's what the disconnect between him and the Giants is he wants this much and the Giants are offering him this much. And he's like, I'll test the open market and I'll see in the open market. It's not as high as you think. Maybe the Dolphins can be like, hey, you want to come down to Miami? You want to play in this nice Miami weather? So Leonard Williams is another guy. And I'm going to end it off with one more pass rusher, one more 3-4 defensive end, 4-3 defensive end. Kyle Van Noy. We're all linked to him. All the Dolphins are always linked to Kyle Van Noy, and there's another guy on this list that I'm going to talk about that the Dolphins are linked to him because he's expatriate. But I bring in Kyle Van Noy. Now he's up in he's probably one of the oldest guys I got on my list. Everyone I have on my list is under 30. I'm going young, except for Cameron Wake. I'd still bring him in, but that's just me, man. I love me some Cameron Wake. You believe me? Kyle Van Noy's 29. He had 6.5 sacks last year. I'd bring him in. That veteran leadership in the linebacker core, that veteran leadership in the defense. I'd bring him in, have him do his thing. Brian Flores is comfortable with him, knows him, worked with him. Bring him in, see what we can do. But again, I'll talk about strategy in about 2 seconds. I got 2 more guys I want to talk about, and then we'll talk about strategy. Then I'll bring in a corner. Bring in one corner. So if you notice, I got a lot of pass rush, maybe a corner, and I'll talk about safety in a second. Trey Waynes, 28. Now, is he going to break the bank? I don't think so. I wouldn't pay him a ridiculous amount, but I would want to bring him in because God forbid we don't know what's happening with Xavier Howard. Also, we don't know if Nick Needham will have a success in the second year. Look at Tony Lippett. He had one good year. He showed promise, and then he just disappeared from his injury. We don't know what Nick Needham will do. Not saying he's injured, but can he prosper in his sophomore year? We don't know what's going to happen with Xavier Howard, like I said. So Trey Waynes and Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan's 29. He's the same age as Kyle Van Noy. I bring these 2 guys in. Bring in another vet. Bring in another guy who can do it. Bring him in. See what happens. Again, not breaking the bank. Now, you guys might be saying, hey, Doug, we just cut Rashad Jones. What's going on, man? You're not going to bring in a safety? I would bring in Justin Simmons, but I don't see the Denver Broncos letting him go. I can see him getting franchise tagged if he hasn't gotten franchise tagged already. Again, they have till Monday at noon to franchise tag their players, and then 11:59, and then Monday at noon is when the tampering period happens, and then all of a sudden you can start going after these players. I would draft a safety. I would run with Eric Rowe, have Bobby McCain maybe stay at safety. I don't want to keep Bobby. I feel like that's like the biggest mistake that Brian Flores did was put Bobby McCain at safety. I put him back at slot corner, but I'd run with Eric Rowe. You know, I don't know if I'm throwing money at a safety. I'd probably take a safety, maybe late first, early second. There's a ton of guys, you know, Winfield, McKinney. Probably bring in one of those guys to play safety. You know, I like those two guys, so I probably wouldn't throw money at safety. And again, that's the other thing. Say we signed like 2 or 3 of the guys that I named on the list, and then we signed 2 or 3 of the guys on my offensive one, you know, offensive lineman, maybe a running back. All of a sudden we go into this draft and we don't need as much, and we can pull a trigger late first round, early second round on a safety because the other needs are kind of addressed. And again, we got another 4th. I'm drafting a corner as well. I'm drafting a lot of players. So these don't need to be addressed here. So that's my mindset, and that's who I'd bring in. Now, you guys want to know, Doug, you're just talking about the Dolphins draft, the free agency strategy. What you talk about? This is what I'm talking about. You've seen the Miami Dolphins for however many years. However many years they had this game plan of they always thought they were one piece away. They always thought, hey, we need this and maybe that, and we're going to be in the playoffs. And all you got to do is get your foot in the playoffs, and you can make the Super Bowl. That's not the right mindset to have. You can't go into things saying, oh, you know, you just got to get into the tournament, and then you can win it. You should be in the tournament and have the pieces to win it. So that's what the Dolphins were constantly doing. Oh, we're going to throw money at this guy. Well, we need a wide receiver for Ryan Tannehill to throw these deep bombs to. Let's bring in Mike Wallace. Huge disconnect. Oh, you know, we need to help Ryan Tannehill with blocking. Let's bring in Brandon Albert. We need pass rush on this defense. Ryan Tannehill can't do it on his own. His defense can't do it on their own. We need some type of big thing in the middle. Oh, and Ndamukong Suh. Big, splashy signings. That's what the Dolphins were for the longest time. Big, splashy signings, and they never worked out. Not doing it anymore. So if you're expecting the Dolphins to go in and throw money at Ngakoue, throw money at Byron Jones, throw money at Chris Jones, throw money at Justin Simmons, they're not going to do it. And that's the reason I didn't have Ngakoue on my list of players I'd bring as the Dolphins, because Ngakoue is going to demand a high contract. Ngakoue's going to be in demand with a high contract, and the Dolphins aren't doing that anymore. They're not going to be going after that. That's what I'm telling you. As soon as Monday hits at noon, you might not hear much from the Dolphins. You might start hearing stuff from the Dolphins on actually Wednesday at 4 o'clock, maybe even Thursday. They might take a step back and say, all you guys throw your money. Throw your money at these players because they're not going to produce. You're going to throw this money at these players that the other team let go. If the other team didn't let them go, that means that they were good. So my mindset on the Dolphin strategy is they're not going to spend the bank on these players. The Dolphins are building this foundation. They're building a dynasty, and they're going to do it right, and they're going to do it correctly by building foundation through the draft and putting certain pieces in free agency. Like I said, you'll notice that a lot of the guys I'm naming, even on offensively, are in their mid-20s. 25, 26, 24. That's who I think they'll bring in. So don't expect the Dolphins to do an Ndamukong Suh type contract, throwing $100 million at a defensive tackle or $80 million at a wide receiver. I don't think that's going to happen. Could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. But be sure to comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think about the coronavirus and the impact it's having on sports. I want to know what you guys think about the Miami's tender of Isaiah Ford, Trent Harris, Zach Zeiler. Who would you guys pick up if you're the Miami Dolphins on defense? And also, what do you think of my thoughts on the Dolphins free agency strategy? Do you think I'm being stupid? Do you think, hey, they got all this money, why not spend it all? Or do you think that they're going to do things right and spend it throughout the years on the right players that fit the system, that fit the mindset, that fit this team? So be sure to comment below, and I'm going to get to one of your guys' comments of the day. This comment I asked on Twitter. I sent a tweet out saying, hey, I'm going to make my video tonight. If you guys want to comment today, jump on in. My next video is going to be from you guys below. I like to switch it up. I like to give the guys on Twitter a chance as well as give you guys below a chance. And this one comes from The Dream Is Here, a.k.a. Ron. And he says, all the fans I see want to spend a lot of money on old guys that have name recognition, yet I don't see many fans suggest good vets who do their job but are not big names. Why is that in your opinion? And I picked this question because it kind of coincides with what I think is the Miami Dolphins strategy. Now, a lot of people, like Ron says, we want that big flashy signing. We want that Antonio Brown signing. We want that Randy Moss signing at the time when he went to the Patriots or he went to the Raiders. We want that big signing of, ooh, Dolphins got Ndamukong Suh, because then you feel good. You're like, we just got the best player in the NFL in free agency that he's going to make this team great. And don't get me wrong, Ndamukong Suh did his thing. Was he worth all that money? But he wasn't bad for the Dolphins. But like you got the Mike Wallace, the Brandon Albert. That flashy big signing makes us as fans feel good because he did great on this team. He's going to do great on our team, or he's going to, look how great this player is. Oh my God, the Dolphins instantly become great. And it doesn't end up being that way. A lot of times it has to do with the chemistry with the team, with the scheme, and a lot of things. So, Ron's asking all the fans I see want to spend a lot of money on old guys that have name recognition. That's the thing that I mentioned in my strategy. Certain players, Lawrence Timmons, a lot of guys will get cut or won't get re-signed. Balaga, why is he going to get re-signed by the Packers? What's going on there? Patriots, they'll start letting guys go. Steelers, Packers, they'll start letting guys go, and then people start scooping them up. Even the Ravens start scooping them up and say, oh, these players play great on this team. They're going to play great for us. There's a reason the team let them go. So, Dolphins aren't doing that anymore. Dolphins are playing smart, and I'm very excited. I forgot to tell you guys the answer to the trivia, which was what visiting team did the Dolphins beat Monday night in 2017? It was the New England Patriots. If you guys remember that game, we whomped them good. 27-20 we won. It would have been 27-17, but they kicked that field goal and then tried to get the onside kick. It didn't happen. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. When news breaks, a lot of news breaks, I tweet it and I give you guys my opinions. I'm also doing it a lot in the community. So if you guys check out the community tab, or if you're on your phone, you can just scroll through subscription. But you go to my channel, you go to the community tab, you could see it there. But be sure to follow me on Twitter. Also check out the Pit Boys. We put Final Fantasy out yesterday. We're doing more Resident Evil. Let us know if there's any games in the comment section on those videos that you want us to play. We'll play them. But be sure to go check it out. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Other than that, give this video a thumbs up. Guys, we have literally 2 days and the tampering period starts, and then 4 days and the league season starts. Hopefully it stays the same way. Again, if things change, if they move it back, I will make a video telling you, hey, this is what's happening, yada, yada, yada. But be sure to give this video a thumbs up because you like the content and you like the video. Check out DolphinsTalk.com. It's a great site I'm associated with. Ton of Dolphins content over there. Be sure to check it out. Other than that, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want the breaking news that's going to happen next week, got to be subscribed. You also have to hit that notification bell and hit all so you can see the videos. I'm not going to be going live this Saturday, but I will be going live next Saturday, the 21st. I go live every Saturday at 1 o'clock. So next Saturday, the 21st, I will be live. So be sure to come over, hang out. We could chat about the Dolphins signings that have been done, some news, some notes, all that stuff. But other than that, I will see you guys with the next news, and I will definitely see you guys Monday when the tampering period starts. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.